So here's my first and last word on Ukraine, since it's still going on and we're still spending billions of taxpayer dollars on it, and other countries are spending who knows how much on that whole situation. Ukraine is a shithole. President Zelensky is corrupt as Putin ever was, has jailed political opponents, and generally has abused and suppressed citizens who are mild fans of, Russia. And ultimately, there were people before Zelensky that were doing the same shit. Ukraine has been in a civil war for over a decade and a half. So when Russia came in, it was because citizens who kind of liked Russia and Ukraine were being suppressed and treated like shit by literal Nazis. Because Zelensky's Department of Governance actually has a lot of ties to Nazi Germany, that were handed down to him from generations ago. And then, just like the Scottish National Party has Nazi ties. They're Nazis beating up on Russians, or Russian sympathizers in Ukraine, and so Russia came in to support inhuman treatment of some of Zelensky's citizens, which is hilarious because Putin himself is kind of crooked on a lot of the same levels as Zelensky, and has done similar things in his country to his own citizens. So I'm not sitting here, sucking Russia's cock about it. But what you need to understand is Russia and Ukraine are basically cut from the same cloth. I mean, after all, Ukraine came out of Russia and out of the USSR, so a lot of their governing policies and praxis come from USSR, just like Putin, who was a member of the KGB at one time. We should not be involved in that shit even slightly. Fuck Ukraine, fuck Russia. Let them fight it out. And you know what happens if Ukraine gets taken by Russia entirely? Nothing to us. Ukraine is not a UN member. They're not part of NATO. They don't have no, expectations that are reasonable for us to bail them out, and yet we are. There are still homeless people in America that are children and women. Single women without no man in their life who have children are homeless right now. And you could put some money towards that and deal with that. And we're not even talking welfare here. Just give this bitch a house for her and her kids and a goddamn job. But instead we're spending billions of dollars on some asshole who played a piano with his fucking dick in a comedy skit at one time, and so now basically can't do no wrong, despite the fact that he basically jails dissidents and political detractors of his. Stop fucking sucking Ukraine's dick. When you say I'm for Ukraine, which half of Ukraine? Because there's a civil war. Which half are you for? Just Ukraine in general? So like the Nazis and the fucking Russian sympathizers? One's more socialist, the other one's, more totalitarian. You can't really tell them apart on a lot of levels, and yet they are apart. Kind of like Sunni and Shia Islam. I mean, they're similar on so many levels that if you weren't inculcated into understanding the differences, you wouldn't be able to tell them apart. You would have to study the issue to tell a Sunni from a Shia if you're not Islamic. But there is big differences between Sunni and Shia that keep them from getting along. Likewise, Ukraine is split in half, and the ideological differences between them might be somewhat hard to parse. Obviously, even though Germany was socialist during the Weimar Republic being taken over by the Nazi Party, they weren't strictly speaking communists. They were national socialists, which is kind of what the Democrats want to do right here in America. They want to basically revive the same type of governance as Nazism. They wouldn't technically be Nazis because Nazi is an abbreviation of National Socialist Party of Germany, or roughly translated there too. And we're not having a National Socialist Party of Germany here in America, but we are adopting a lot of their praxis due to the Democratic Party and the Renos and, Republican in name only and the neocons that are slowing it down but not actually reversing anything. So please, just stop with the fucking Ukraine bullshit. You don't care about Ukraine because you don't even know what the fuck's going on in Ukraine. You just think war is bad. Well, I do too, but the people that you're voting for in your ignorance because you're a fucking current thing cocksucker are for war. And even if you think you're against war, when you vote for people that are for war, you're basically just telling me with your words one thing and with your actions doing another. There's no respect for that, and nobody should do anything but tell you to sit down and shut the fuck up, because you have nothing intelligent to say, you absolute fucking brainlets. And as for the midwits, you don't know what you're talking about either. The only thing that makes you a midwit is that you have a long enough attention span to fucking repeat back the rhetoric that was told to you more than a fucking month ago. Shove off.